The Scout is without doubt the most powerful head-to-head combat class in Team Fortress 2. Yeah, you've got your heavies and demos and soldiers, but can any of them jump over your head multiple times per second while meat-shotting you with 100 damage meat shots? Thought so. In this video, I, as a Scout main, wanted to touch on my favorite loadouts to use in casual lobbies, and even competitive play. Please note that I'm far from an actual competitive Scout player, and these are just my takes and opinions on the loadouts. With that being said, I hope you enjoy. To start off, my most used loadout is probably the Scattergum, pistol and Atomizer combo. Now there's a couple of things that might jump out to the Scout mains out there. Why the Atomizer? And why not the Criticola? First off, I firmly believe that the Atomizer is the best overall melee weapon for the Scout. Having a third jump opens up so many more possibilities of movement from the Scout, such as allowing him to reach further angles or even get away from a situation easier. The third jump also doesn't have any downsides to it. It allows me personally to kill the enemy medic with literally the entire team around him. Is my life worth sacrificing for that? No, but goddamn is it a fun experience. You could definitely say the Boston Basher is a better melee alternative for the Scout due to helping your fellow medics, but I'll talk about that a bit later. Secondly, as someone who plays with a high sensitivity, I tend to miss some pretty easy meat shots at times, especially when the enemy is low. I start to panic. This is where the pistol comes in. Just holding mouse 1 while the pistol spits out bullets lets me focus more on actually aiming at the enemy and finish him off easier. Though the Criticola is extremely useful in a lot of situations, and is the reason why it's still banned in various competitive leagues, for me, it would simply lead to missing a mini crit meat shot instead of a regular meat shot, so not much of a point. Counting this as a different loadout, I often like switching out the pistol with the Mad Milk. The amount of help it provides when fighting classes such as a good heavy or a good pyro is immense. The supportive element for the rest of the team is also very important, especially in a more competitive setting. Besides, it really helps against the 82 gibbous pyros an enemy team will usually have in pubs. Speaking of healing benefits, the Pretty Boy's pocket pistol. Ever since the change of the weapon in the Jungle Inferno update, as well as a pretty significant nerf to the weapon in a patch in March 2018, the weapon for me has become pretty darn useless. The Mad Milk not only heals you more per hit, but also helps your team, and as an added benefit you can actually use your Scattergun and finish off the enemy easier. So the pocket pistol is definitely not a weapon I ever use. In this loadout, I also often use the Boston Basher. As an amazing supportive alternative to the bat, it not only deals bleeding damage to enemies upon a hit, at 35 base damage and an extra 40 over a period of 8 seconds, but more importantly provides a supportive element to your team's medic in the form of self-damage, which helps build your fellow medic's uber. An often unmentioned part of the Boston Basher is also the movement benefit it provides. Hitting yourself with a bat, if done correctly, can provide a sort of third jump similar to what the Atomizer does, though this isn't really used that often due to the immense cost in the form of bleeding. Speaking of immense cost, the Force of Nature provides incredible knockback to you and the enemy, as well as more bullets per shot for a 66% reduction in clip size and a damage penalty. Now, as someone who likes spending most of their time actually shooting their enemies instead of reloading, I never really use this weapon, apart from messing around once in a while. Besides, I've never understood how the knockback mechanic works anyway, and end up knocking myself into imminent death. Though on the topic of scatterguns, I don't really consider the rest of them to be viable alternatives. The Sodapopper provides an extra 5 jumps for the same 66% size trade-off. Once again, I like being able to actually shoot my enemies instead of reloading every few seconds, and the 5 extra jumps don't really come into play that often for me. 3 is enough. The shortstop has become kind of a joke weapon ever since the Meet in Your Match update. Where the only benefit was the healing bonus. Now the only useful part of this weapon is pushing people around like some 4th grade school bully. The Backscatter is a surprisingly decent alternative to the Scattergun on certain maps with flanking ability. The mini crit bonus helps the weapon do a pretty significant amount of damage, though, just like the backburner, the game is often very picky about where the enemy's back actually is. The lower accuracy also doesn't usually come up in these situations, considering you're pretty much right behind your enemy when firing the damn thing in the first place. And the reduction in clip size, while pretty significant, isn't quite bad as its 2-shot counterparts. But if you have to fight someone in front of you with this thing, it can become quite challenging. Now there's a few other items I haven't talked about. The Guillotine, Bionic Atomic Punch, Rap Assassin, to name a few. The reason for that is because I consider these weapons to be either extremely situational to the point of their upside barely shining in the first place, or just weak and useless to the point where they do shine, but they don't shine bright like a diamond. With all of that being said, even a fully stocked scout has the potential to achieve a lot more in a fight than a soldier. For example, while a soldier has to commit to a fight, scout can simply choose not to participate in a fight and choose a better moment, otherwise known as picking his fights. There's a reason the meta is 2 scouts in a 6v6 game of TF2 anyway. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you back very soon.